I've been really impressed with a young man named Jake Hollander who came to our attention a few weeks ago when we had Gene McNary on the show talking about the unification of St. Louis. And Jake, welcome to the Girard Realty Show.
Well, thank you for having me on.
It is great to have you. I appreciate you coming in. Tell us in just 1 minute real quickly how you actually started St. Louis Strong.
So I grew up here, and I've always been bothered by kind of the backwardsness of how we operate, the euphemisms that get thrown around. It's kind of what chased me off and away from St. Louis in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I went to American University in D.C. to study politics, figure out how to address policy problems like the ones we're facing here.
Right.
Saw groups were forming to start addressing these issues, read the Greater St. Louis editorial series. After working a year on telecom policy, I decided to come back after Ferguson and become part of the solution and help St. Louis get back on its feet.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I think it's admirable. You are a very young man. We need more folks like you in the St. Louis area, especially the young folks, to step up. You know, David, you and I were very active in a lot of that kind of stuff, but it's been years and years since you and I, first met and kind of worked on some of those issues. But it's just really nice. And, folks, especially from out of St. Louis, when we tell them that we have 90 different communities in St. Louis that are each cities or villages or municipalities, plus the city of St. Louis, it's just mind-boggling to them. They're like, wait a minute, 91 governing bodies in the St. Louis area. So your plan, Jake, is to unify them, to bring them together. Why would anybody care about that?
Well, first off, I think people underestimate just how many communities and elected officials we have. We have 684 elected officials
in St. Louis,
in St. Louis
County,
city and county when you add them together. The United States Congress has 535 elected officials, so we have more elected officials than the United States Congress.
We have more elected officials in St. Louis than Washington. That's crazy.
Yeah, and so with that, you get a lot of redundancies. We spend over $250 million on general administration alone. That's $281 million annually. So there's a lot of savings to be realized, but there's more than that. We could actually start growing as a region again. We could start attracting actual workforce. Nashville, they unified in 1963. Their workforce grew from it grew 10% from 2010 to 2014.
Yeah, that's crazy, and it's not just about efficiencies. You can drag costs out of those 600 something different people working in government in St. Louis area. You can drag costs out of duplicating efforts from one side to another. But what happens when you drag the cost out is you kind of launch a better upside for that. And I think that's what you're saying, is that the economic activity will increase dramatically when you take that burdensome cost out of the equation.
Exactly. The municipalities, most of them, their largest cost is policing, and we've seen that they can't do policing that well. The Department of Justice, the Ferguson Commission report, the Police Executive Research Forum have all said the way St. Louis does things is pretty atrocious.
And it's just traditionally been that way, and Ferguson is even one of the larger small communities. So imagine what's going on in the small communities.
Oh, yeah. We have 48 municipalities that have less than 5,000 residents, 23 of which have less than 1,000 residents, and 43 municipalities sit on a square mile of land or less. So we're extremely fragmented. You can't really have economies of scale there, and you can't really do things in an efficient or effective manner